Hi guys, and welcome back to another Championship prediction video. And I've got some good news. We managed to get 2 scores correct. Don't think it's happened for a while, but we got Blackburn beating Millwall 2-1 and Cardiff getting a point in a 1-1 draw against Burnley, which I think is a pretty good prediction because I don't think it's something that was really explored much. But I went for it. I just sort of thought, you know what, there's a shock. And it happens, so maybe a few more of them will need to be thrown in to, get a few extra predictions correct. But that's, I'm happy with that, I'll take it. 2 out of 12 is pretty good. Predicting scores is hard. Predicting results in the Championship's hard, but scores, very difficult. So 2 out of 12 is decent. Before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit the like button. Let's try and get 10 likes on this video, that'd be great. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We went up a few more subscribers, we're on 154, so let's try and push 155. Are you going to be the person, the 155th subscriber? Well, if you want to be, you know what you got to do, hit that subscribe button. And make sure to hit the notification bell as well, so you don't miss out on any more Championship content. And that's it, so let's get in to the predictions. And we kick off with Bristol City taking on Coventry. Interesting, because Bristol City aren't in the greatest of form. They were very good, but they've lost 3 in a row. However, they were against Norwich, Burnley, and the latest one was against QPR. So 3 tough fixtures. Came out with no points, which you'll be disappointed in, but I think a game like this can get them back on track. Coventry have started to pick up some points and managed to get their first win at the weekend. Unbeaten in 3, beat Middlesbrough 1-0, very good result. Led to Chris Wilder being sacked today, which I didn't see coming, but Middlesbrough have been struggling. How is this one going to go? Now, I feel like Bristol City have still, obviously they've been better this season, but I think they've got so much to give going forward and they've had some difficult fixtures. So I do favour Bristol City and I think they are going to manage to get all 3 points here with a 2-1 victory. Luton take on Huddersfield next. The 2 surprise entrants in last season's playoffs. No one expected it. They both got there. How are they coping this season? Well, Luton, they started poorly, but they've been pretty good. They've won 2 in a row, both 2-0, and they've only lost 1 out of their last 7. So, putting some good performances together now. Huddersfield, they've struggled. They have won 1 out of their last 5, losing the other 4. They're not in great form at all. And I fancy Luton to make it 3 in a row. So let's go for it. Luton win 2-0. A game that should be quite close up next. Sheffield United versus QPR. Now Sheffield United managed to not win their first game at Bramall Lane this season, as Blues travelled there and took away a point in a 1-1 draw. It's the first time Sheffield United haven't won at Bramall Lane, so very, very good from a Blues perspective. Sheffield United still obviously on that 10-game unbeaten run, but we maybe caught them napping a bit after the international break. It might have just been, it worked out well for us. Sheffield United had a bit of a blip. Or maybe teams are going to start to get at them a bit more. I'm not too sure. But QPR are in good form as well. They've only lost 1 out of their last 7. And they won their last game 2-1 against Bristol City. They're starting to put the pieces together now. I think they've got some really good players. They were everyone's dark horse from last season, really. And seeing how they're faring this season, they didn't get off to a great start. But they're looking like a better side now. And I'm wondering whether they're going to be in the playoff race come the end of the season. For this one, are Sheffield United going to maybe lose at home? I don't think so. But I think Sheffield United will either win this tightly or draw it. And I'm going to go for the team at the top of the table to drop a couple of points. In a draw, a 1-1 draw. Sunderland up against Blackpool now. Sunderland have had a very good start to this season. They are unbeaten in 3, and their last 2 games have been a draw against Watford 2-2 and a 0-0 against Preston, which doesn't surprise too many people because it's Preston. How many 0-0s have they had this season? I've lost count. They're up against a Blackpool side that aren't in great form, lost 4 out of their last 5, and they've lost 3 in a row, so it's not going well for Blackpool. And I fancy Sunderland just to sneak this one 1-0. Cardiff take on Blackburn now. Both these teams picked up good results at the weekend. Cardiff getting a draw against Burnley, and Blackburn beating Millwall 2-1. Now this is a tough one to call because Blackburn seem very hit and miss. They've won 6, lost 5 of their 11, so very hit and miss, as I said. Cardiff, they picked up a few results that would surprise you. You know, a few games ago it was a 3-2 win away at Middlesbrough, a 1-1 draw with Burnley at the weekend, but then they lost to Huddersfield. So it's a tough one to call. And I'm not sure how to go with it. It's a difficult one. Blackburn yet to draw a game this season. Could this be their first draw? I'll go for it. Cardiff to nick a point in a 1-1 draw. Reading v Norwich, 3rd versus 2nd. Reading have been in brilliant form this season. I don't think anyone expected it. No draws yet. In their last 8, they've won 6, lost 2. So they're in very, very good form. And they're up against a Norwich side that are unbeaten in 8. And they've got 7 wins across those games. So both in brilliant form. Reading being at home could give them an advantage. They do seem to be a bit better at home. I don't know. Again, this one is tough. Norwich obviously have the quality, but Reading are performing to a very high level that I did not expect to see from them at all this season. Could Reading, it would be a bit of an upset if they won it. Could they cause it? They've got the potential. But I'm just going to go with this one. Norwich to keep their unbeaten run, but the points to be shared 2-2. On to Wednesday's fixtures, starting with Burnley up against Stoke. Now Burnley are actually unbeaten in 8, but you wouldn't think it because they've drawn 5 of them. A lot of draws, and if they could just find that winning goal a bit more often, they'd probably be in the top 2 right now. They're just struggling to score a lot of goals. They got a draw against Cardiff at the weekend. They would have expected a win out of that. I didn't. I went for a 1-1 draw for some reason, and it ended up being right. But it's a difficult one with Burnley because they've got the quality. Obviously, Vincent Kompany's quite an unproven manager, but everything about them is kind of exciting, which is weird to say about Burnley considering they've been playing under Sean Dyche for the last God knows how long, you know, a while. But they've got something about them. They just need to be a bit more clinical up top, and they could be a real contender this season. They're up against a Stoke side that are very hard to read, very all over the place. They lost their last one 4-0 against Watford, but Watford are going to be a bit scary now that Slaven Bilic is in charge, because he is a man who gets results wherever he goes, really. When he makes a step up to the Premier League, tends to be when he loses his job. Being at Watford, if they go up to the Premier League, he'll be the first manager to go. But I've just got a feeling that Burnley are going to get a winner here. So I'm going to go for that. Burnley win it 2-1. Hull up against Wigan now. Difficult one to call. Or is it? I mean, you'd expect these two teams to be quite close in the league. But Hull, they'd lost 4 in a row, sacked their manager on the day of their last fixture against Luton, and then went and lost that one 2-0. So 5 losses in a row. Hull are not coping well at all. Wigan have won 3 out of their last 4, which is quite surprising. They're starting to put some good results together, which I wasn't expecting this season. I thought Wigan would really struggle, but they're giving it a good go, as are the other 2 teams that came up as well, Rotherham and Sunderland. So the newly promoted sides are definitely surprising me this season, but Wigan have been quite steady. For this game, I think Hull might be in for 6 in a row. Wigan to win it 1-0. Middlesbrough up against Blues now, and I'm a bit frustrated that Middlesbrough have went and sacked Chris Wilder, because I think this was a chance for Blues to get a win. Now, new manager will come in, or assistant manager will take over, and it always leads to a bit of uncertainty. You don't necessarily know how to set up against them, and they normally come away with some sort of point, especially with a team like Middlesbrough that's just underperforming. I'm a bit worried now. Now, Middlesbrough haven't been in great form. They've only won 2 all season, and they haven't won in their last 3, losing their last one 1-0 against Coventry, who were bottom of the table. Believe they still are bottom of the table actually, but they hadn't won a game yet this season. And it leads to Wilder being sacked. Now, Middlesbrough are really underperforming. I'm not surprised he was sacked really, but I'm just frustrated at when it's fell, because it's going to be tough. It's going to make this game a lot tougher than I initially thought it would be. Now, Blues, we have been in very good form, very happy. First team to beat Preston and score against Preston, 1-0 win. Then we became the first team to win at the Hawthorns this season with a 3-2 win, Scott Hogan hat-trick, brilliant. A draw against Coventry, not amazing, but we'd normally lose that game. And then a 1-1 draw away against league leaders Sheffield United, becoming the first team, again, to take a point away from Sheffield United, when they're playing at Bramall Lane. So, some very good results there, first team to do a lot of things. And we're definitely building in the right way. Eustace has the team going, brilliantly. Everyone seems together. It's a unit. That Sheffield United game, if we went 1-0 down over the past 5 seasons, we'd probably have lost that 2-3-0. But we've got a bit of belief about us, and I'm loving it under Eustace. He's doing such a good job, and I think we will be okay this season. I don't think we'll be near the relegation zone. I'm not saying I think we'll be near the top half either. I think we'll be bottom half, somewhere in the middle of the bottom half, but it's good for a team working with nothing. For this game, however, I'm going to go, and I was going to go for a Blues win. I was going to go all out, but that Chris Wilder sacking makes me think Middlesbrough will get some out of it, but I only think they'll get a point in a 1-1 draw. Rotherham up against Millwall now. And this is an interesting one, because Rotherham are quite hard to read. They've had a good start because they don't have a championship squad. And in their last 6, won 2, drew 2, lost 2. So very mixed, but they'll definitely take it, because this is their best start to a championship season for as long as I can remember. Millwall, they have struggled at the start of this season. Last 7 games, lost 5 of them, won the other 2, so not picking up too many points either. And there's actually a really weird stat. every away game they've had this season, they've conceded 2 goals, which is very, very strange because Millwall, I know at home Millwall have always been better, but you always associate them with being quite good in defence, keeping the goals out, but maybe not scoring too many either. Tightly contested games, but they keep conceding on the road. For this game, I'm going to go for a bit of a shocker. At the start of the season, this was the first game, I'd never go for it, but the form says differently. Rotherham to win 2-1. Watford up against Swansea now, and this could be a very exciting game. Watford were in very bad form. They'd only won 1 out of 7, which led to Edwards being sacked. And they bring in Slaven Bilic, which is a smart appointment. Watford will discard of him in about 9-10 months. But he'll do a job for you in the Championship, 100%. And he proved that in his first game with a brilliant 4-0 victory over Stoke. Now they're up against a Swansea side that didn't start too well, but they've started to pick it up now. 3 wins out of their last 4 games. The last 2 games, they have managed to score 3 goals in each. And they won the last one 3-2 against West Brom. It was 2-2. West Brom got a penalty, missed it. And then Swansea end up winning the game 3-2. So, very exciting game. Swansea getting, quite a few goals at the moment. But Watford with Bilic, with the players that he's got at his disposal, I think that this is a very, very big thing for the Championship because I can't see too many people being able to beat Watford now or get many points off them. I don't think they'll give away anywhere near what they have been giving away. And I fancy Watford. Good start under Slaven Bilic to continue with an emphatic 3-1 win here. And the final game of these midweek fixtures is Preston up against West Brom. Now Preston returned to their usual ways this weekend with a 0-0 draw against Sunderland. It's what they've been doing for most of the season. They had 3 games where they weren't, maybe 4, where they weren't getting 0-0 draws, but they're back at it. And I think this one will be quite low scoring as well. Maybe not 0-0, but low scoring. West Brom have been in very poor form. 6 games now without a win. They lost their second game at the Hawthorns this season on the weekend, 3-2 against Swansea. The first time they lost at Hawthorns, 3-2 against Blues. So they've lost both the home games they've lost this season. 3-2 scorelines. Pretty strange. Now, West Brom haven't picked up too many points on the road. And I kind of fancy Preston to keep that up. I don't think Preston will lose this for some reason. I think Bruce will be gone very soon because he's had a torrid time at West Brom. There has not been a time in his tenure where he's looked like doing anything with them. They've been so poor under him, and I can't really see how they can go on like this because they should be, up there near the playoffs. And they're in the relegation zone. It's been an awful start. And I'm actually going to go for Preston to win this one 1-0. So, those are my predictions for these upcoming Championship fixtures. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll leave a fixture list in the description, so feel free to copy and paste that into the comments and put your predictions down there. Make sure to hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video. Remember, we're trying to get to 10 likes on it, so make sure, if you do enjoy it, that you don't forget to hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Remember, you could be number 155 or 156. It's all up to you. Just make sure to hit that button and hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any more Championship content. Hoping that Blues can get some this week. Up the Blues.